Today I'm going to show off a deck that I've been having a lot of fun with and have had some success with playing. It's going to be a mainly Terra deck with a few other splashes of elements. For my level 0s, first off I'll have 3 Sinroshis. This pretty much powers the deck with the draw. You discard 1 and draw 1 card. Very good early game. Next, for the level 0s, I'll have the 2 class, the Forlorn and Exalted, as they are pretty good with the Arcnote Crab. And the Forlorn ends up drawing you a card after it gets sent from the Convoke Zone to the Afterlost. Have 3 of each of those. I got 3 Seylee Herald of the Land. It is a very good searcher and can get your level 1s, which are your main characters that you're going to be wanting to get. And then I've got 3 from Sands and False Ashes. Sands and False Ashes generates Terra Orbs by sending 2 charms from the Afterlost to the Abyss. Very good orb generation. And then I have 3 Runthimus Indomitable Will. This will be a card that you discard off of Sinroshi to draw extra cards and gain vitality. So you will almost never be playing the actual Runthimus to your Convoke Zone. And my final level 0s are going to be Crystallizing Droplet Freillas. These are cards that have Afterlost effects and can be very powerful when used at the right time. I've only got 2 of them because they are not the main focus or element of the deck, and if you see too many of them, your game plan does not go through. So those are my level 0s. My level 1s, I'll start off with 3 Jayce. 3 Jayce is in here because he is kind of the bread and butter of the deck, as you discard 2 and send opposing characters to the Abyss so that they don't gain orbs. The bad, unfortunate part is they don't lose vitality. Main thing is they don't get the orbs. Next, I've got 3 Griwyn. Griwyn is also pretty good, as it has fairly high striking guard for level 1, and can stasis opposing characters with its instinct manual, and will end up drawing a card if it's sent from the Convoke Zone to the Afterlost. So it replaces itself. And finally, I've got 2 Ryokos. Ryoko is for the Judgment effect to stasis an opposing character. So when your opponent ends up going to strike phase, you can end up using the Judgment to lock down your opponent's biggest character. So you will, if you end up playing Ryoko, you're in a bad position. So those are my level 1s. My level 2 characters, I've only got 1 of, but it's a 3 of. Melryia is a fantastic level 2, as it has 2 instincts. The first one reduces your opponent's character's striking guard by 100 for each modified -1 it has. And the instinct auto draws you extra cards as long as you end up sending other characters to the Afterlost during strike phase. You get to draw more cards, which also refills your hand for Jayce instincts to remove more of your opponent's characters. So that's all for the characters that I have. Next, I'll go on to the sectors. Sectors, I've only got 3 of them. Ancient Atmosphere. Ancient Atmosphere will allow you to continuously keep using the Jayce's instinct, as you are most of the time having less than 3 cards in hand, so you will almost always be taking advantage of the Ancient Atmosphere of drawing 2 cards. For the supplies, I've got four of them. First, I've got the Resonator Cannon. Resonator Cannon has a high strike value to increase the amount of characters that Jayce can target. And Resonator Cannon also gets rid of pesky charms or supplies that you normally would not be able to. Next, I've got a Kamayari Sakura, as it is a very powerful card selection from the top of your deck. Not a whole lot of strike value buff, but it is really good for the card advantage. I've got one Cipher Bow, as it is a very good supply, limits your opponent's resources from hand, and has a pretty decent boost to guard, an okay boost to strike value. Main reason is for the opposing player discards a card. Limits your opponent's resources. And for the final supply, I've got the Glystal Blade. Glystal Blade will also draw you cards, and has a strike buff of plus 100, which is the same as the Resonator Cannon, so Jayce can hit more targets, and can search out your Runthimuses for discard fodder. So that's all I've got for supplies. Now my charms. I've got replenishes. Replenishes just to draw cards, and then most of the time you may end up just discarding them to Jayce, but it is also good to just draw extra cards. Next, I've got removal, which is going to be 3 banished into the voids. Again, just sending characters to the abyss so that they don't get orbs, so they can't get their bigger characters out. Next, I've got 3 Strike the Earth. Strike the Earth is a very powerful charm, as it is an instant, and you can use Inferno or Terra. The most of this deck is Terra, and you can get extra value off of having charms due to the False Ashes getting the Terra Orb. So this 1 Terra Orb is not too difficult to even get. And then I've got 3 Resounding Losses. Resounding Loss is great, as it kicks off your own orb generation, along with putting more charms into the Afterloss for False Ashes to get Terra Orbs. And can also end up removing one of your opponent's characters as well. And my final charm for this is Fortunes and Failures, as you are wanting to refill your hand and discarding your Ryokos and Freillas and Runthimuses. It is overall pretty good because you draw 3 cards and discard 2, or you discard the level 1. And that is all. Arknotes deck. First, I've got Scorching Serenade. Scorching Serenade is one of the best removals for the Arknotes deck. Next, I've got a Argul. Argul is good for getting back your Jayces to remove more of your opponent's characters, along with reviving the Melryas. Forbidden Order is just extra draw and extra discard. Most of the time you'll just draw a card and then discard a Freilla, Ryoko, Runthimus. Got Encroaching Shadows. Encroaching Shadows negates activated judgments. This is to stop The Arc Notes Jayce to stop Arc Notes Jayce, or even Augurs to return themselves. And it is also used to stop Sakiyima Judgments. I've got Astronomical Alignment in here to free play a Melryia. Getting an early Melryia can be very hard for your opponent to actually get rid of, as it has 200 guard and 200 strike. So getting rid of it is a bit difficult without having multiple turns within the game already. Tactical Assault is very good early game, as if you go second and you got a bunch of characters in hand, you can end up playing the Tactical Assault, removing one of your opponent's characters right off the bat without them being able to really utilize the character. I've got Stormmage Triface in here. Stormmage Triface is wonderful card advantage and draws you cards for when you are running low and you've got Triface out, and has very high strike and guard value, so it is very difficult to remove. And then I've got the Neolith Zenith of the Sea Arcnote Crab, as it is a very big beater. And since the deck is mainly Terra, I've got the two level 0 crabs, and just getting out a 400 Arcnote is very good. Got Critical Moment, as you will be running low on cards quite a bit. This just draws you one card. Finally, I've got Shore's Forgotten Tale. Shore's Forgotten Tale, all players convoke one character, so this is just another revival option for Jayce or even Melryia. And in some fringe cases, any of your level 0s. So that's it for my Arcnotes deck. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you've got any suggestions for the deck, feel free to leave them in the comment section, or if you've got any questions, please ask.